All right, well, welcome guys. Live stream should be starting up right now. Super excited. We have another 4-game Olympic basketball slate. I am, again, going to be watching basketball all night long. I think, once again, there's going to be an edge on this slate for sure. Maybe not as much as the first slate because we didn't have, there's some game logs out there, obviously, from game one. So maybe not as big of an edge, but still there's going to be some dead money, as always, in these, Olympic basketball slates. But if you guys are just coming in, if you could, leave a like button on the live stream and subscribe if you haven't already. So in today's live stream, I'll be live for about 30 minutes. Going to go team by team, talk about players I like, talk about the team's first games, and then leave a little time for questions at the end. So let's start off, guys, with the Vegas odds. Then we go team by team and then questions. So Germany, Nigeria against 165.5 over under. Nigeria are 4.5-point favorites here. Iran versus USA, it's 167.5 over under. USA are 39.5-point favorites. So this game's a little bit tricky. Obviously, there's the blowout risk, right? Do the Iran guys play even in a blowout? I don't think that the main USA guys like KD, Lillard play if the game's a blowout. So those guys become pretty risky, to be honest. Once again, the USA guys are overpriced, but I think everyone in the United States are going to be super low owned. So if you want to roll the dice in one of the US stars and hope this game stays close, I don't hate that idea. I really don't think anyone's going to play the USA guys. Again, most of them are definitely overpriced. Australia, Italy, 174.5 over under. So this one's projected to be played at the fastest pace. Australia are 7.5-point favorites. I like both teams here. Australia runs a pretty tight rotation. Same with Italy. There are some guys that are mispriced. And France, Czech Republic, probably my second favorite game on the slate. It's 165 over under. And France are 9.5-point favorites. What's going on, Arkan? How's it going? Bonga. Yeah, I think Bonga, we'll get to him. He's definitely a value play I'm looking to. Fade USA. Yeah, so USA guys were way more popular the first slate. They're going to be pretty low owned, I would think, this slate. You can still look to a couple of spend ups. Like I said, they should be very low owned. And if Iran can somehow keep this game somewhat close, you could see a 40 fancy point game from KD at low ownership or Lillard. So will I be going there? Probably not. But I actually don't hate him on this slate if you want to get contrarian. Maybe use one as a one-off. All right, so let's start off with Germany and Nigeria. So, on the Germany side, we have Mo Wagner at the top at 8.6K. Don't mind him actually as a contrarian spend up. Now, he did only play 21 minutes in the first game. Had a subpar game, 12 points, 4 boards, 1 assist. Wagner's usually a pretty good point per minute guy. And we've seen games for Germany, exhibition games, where he's played close to 30 minutes. We've also seen games where he's played 10 minutes. So, the risk is there. However, if everything goes right for Mo Wagner here, there is a chance he could go for 35, 40 fancy points. Again, risky play because the minutes are not secure. Also, he will come off the bench. But if you want to use him as a contrarian spend up, I don't think it's the worst play. I think M. Lowe, probably my favorite play, him and Bonga on the Germany side. So he also came off the bench, played big minutes, here I'll bring it up. He played 28 minutes for 24 points, 4 boards, 4 assists. He will be their point guard. He's going to handle the ball a ton, and he's priced below 7K. And again, I expect similar minutes. He's an aggressive player in the offensive end. I think he is a pretty decent play there at that price. Votman, I'll probably pass on at 6'3". The other guy that stands out here is Isaac Bonga, 4.6K. So they had him listed as a center, even though he played the point guard at times here for Germany. Again, he'll handle the ball. He can get those blocks, those assists. Even though he's an awful point per minute guy in the NBA, it's different, obviously, for Olympics, right? Like Yuta Watanabe, not a great point per minute guy. Went for almost 50 fancy points last game. So you got to throw this bias out the window for think about it from NBA terms. Bonga is a good NBA or good point per minute guy for Olympic basketball. And he's priced at 4.6K. Also, he played close to 30 minutes. Got can stuff his stat sheet. Definitely someone we can look to for some value. Last guy I'll mention here is Andreas Obst. Now, they have him listed as a point guard, even though he is their shooting guard. He is a sharpshooter, basically going to stand in that three-point line. So if he's knocking down some three-point shots, sure, he can have some upside. He also played big minutes. I believe he played over 30. Yeah, or he played 29 minutes. So the peripheral stats are not going to be there, which makes him a little bit riskier. But he's still cheap, and the minutes, again, should be there. So I think he'll go under-owned on this slate. Obviously a riskier value play, but still playable. And that's probably it for Germany. I don't think I'm going to get to anyone else on this team. All right, guys, so let's move on to Nigeria. Nigeria, they kind of spread out the minutes, but there were some guys that did play over 20 minutes. There are some guys that are interesting here. So let's go over their most recent game. Again, Koji played over 20 minutes. He played 23. Precious Achua, who is a good point per guy, played 22. Jordan Nwora played 24. Gabe Vincent played 25. Casey Powell only played 17, but was in a little bit of foul trouble. Again, a lot of these names you'll recognize. I think they have 8 NBA players on this team. But yeah, they played, I think, 12 guys, and no one really played massive minutes. No one played over 25 minutes. 25 minutes, the most played was Gabe Vincent. So let's take a look at these price points here. Achua versus Okafor. So Okafor, I believe, only played 11 minutes. I think. Let's see. Yeah, he only played 11. Now, both guys are solid point per guys. However, if Achua is going to play double the minutes, I'm just going to edge to Achua. Now, in exhibition games, we did see Okafor play a little bit more. So is there a chance he could play more? It's possible. But I think I would rather go to Achua at a similar price. Now, Gabe Vincent, I think, will be a little bit lower owned. He didn't have a great game, right? No, he did play the most minutes. They have the minutes now up here in Draftkings. 26 minutes, again, 7 points, 5 boards, 1 assist, 1 steal. Again, he'll handle the ball a decent amount here, and I think because of that subpar game last game, he will go a little bit under-owned. But Vincent, definitely one of my favorite plays here for Nigeria. Agata I liked, but the minutes just weren't there. He only played about 14 minutes, so not enough for me to get to him. Let's see. A couple other guys I want to mention here. Josh Okogie at 4.4K also played over 20 minutes. Went for 11, 2, and 3. 1 block, 2 steal. Again, a good defender. And will be more aggressive on the offensive end here than obviously in the NBA. So Okogie, I think, is a solid value play. Also Jordan Nwora at 4K. Played some solid minutes. Played 21 minutes. Again, 1 for 10, 3, and 4 steals. So there are some guys that are viable here for Nigeria. Oh, last guy I mentioned here is Opala. Again, he's really, really cheap. He did get in some foul trouble. He hasn't really been like their, one of their top offensive players, but I expect him to play around 20, maybe 25 minutes. So viable, and it should be pretty low on. All right, so let's move on to Iran versus USA. Really quick, guys, if you're just coming in, if you could, leave a like button on the live stream and subscribe if you haven't already. Again, 50% of people that watch videos, live streams, are not subscribed. Hit that subscribe button. It would help me out a ton. Again, trying to close in on the 10K mark. We're at 106 viewers and 22 likes. Let's try to get that to 70 likes before I get out of here. Again, I will answer questions at the end as well. All right, so Iran versus USA. There are some intriguing plays here for Iran. This game could go a lot of different ways, right? Iran can keep this game close, and we could see a lot of the value smash. This game could blow out, and Iran could empty the bench. USA could empty the bench. So there is more risk with the expensive players, let's say. So like a guy like Haddadi at 9.3 is a good point per guy. Fouled out last game, played 29 minutes, went for a double-double. If you think Iran has a chance to keep this game competitive, I think he's a viable contrarian spend up. Now, I do prefer other guys on this slate at a similar price, but Haddadi is still viable. Again, definitely contrarian. Kazemi, Daver, Parna, no interest there. 3 guys I want to mention here for value. All right, it's Biak, M. James, and M. Nick. Again, I'm not going to try to pronounce their last names, but those are the 3 that are intriguing here. Again, if we go look at the game logs, all 3 saw big minutes. Iran really had a condensed rotation, which is always good for DFS. Got M. James played 29 minutes, Biak played 36, and Nick played 32 minutes. So all 3 basically played 30-plus minutes. Now, Biak had the best game here, so I think he is for sure going to be the most popular. Again, he went for 23, 4, and 3. However, and we got to think of this like GPPs, right? So everyone sees that Biak had a great game. Everyone's going to play Biak as their value, right? Everyone's going to go to him. Now, I'm not saying he's a bad player. He also played the most minutes. However, if everyone's going to play Biak, give me M. James or give me M. Nick, right? These 2 guys that also played 30-plus minutes were also pretty productive. So, yeah, I like all 3. I think Biak is... Even though I like him for value, I think he might be a little bit over-owned, right? There's no guarantee he's going to go for 30-plus fantasy points again, right? It could be M. James. It could be M. Nick. Now, what I do want to mention here is it looks like M. James is the point guard. He had 7 assists. He's been leading the team in assists in exhibition games, and, again, he's a little bit cheaper. So I have some interest in M. James. Now, could you play both these guys together? It's viable. However, what I will say is guard is loaded today. There are a ton of good plays at the guard position, so it might be tricky to get both in. And that's why I think M. Nick looks kind of appealing. He is small forward eligible. Again, his first game wasn't anything crazy, but he also, again, played over 30 minutes. He did not shoot well, 3 of 11, but still in for 8, 6, 2, and 3. So I think he's intriguing. Again, kind of like that he's small forward eligible, a weaker position on this slate. So that's our math for Iran. Haddadi, viable contrarian spend up, but really where I'm looking toward the value. Again, if everyone's going to play Biak, just look elsewhere for tournaments, right? All right, USA. So USA, probably my least favorite team to target on the slate. There's a couple different things at play. A lot of guys are definitely overpriced, one. And number two, I don't think like KD, Lillard, Tatum, the main guys, play if this game is a 30-point blowout going into the fourth quarter. So they're all super risky GBP plays. Again, is there a chance Iran keeps this close and KD has a massive game? Possible, but I would just prefer other spend up. So like KD, Lillard, Tatum, not completely out of play, but definitely risky. No interest in Levine. Holiday, I'll pass on, even though he had a great game last game. I'm not going there to that price. Booker, I'll pass. Green, I'll pass. Bam Adebayo is cheap and did play some decent minutes. Again, though, I think I would rather get to other stars. Now, like, for the showdown slate, I think it's interesting to look like the end of the bench guys. I don't think I can go there for the main slate, but guys like Keldon Johnson, JaVale McGee, probably not going to play much. But if this game turns into a massive blowout, they could play the whole fourth quarter. They could play maybe a majority of the second half. So those guys a little bit interesting for the showdown slate. Again, I don't think I can go there, though, on the main slate. All right, so let's move on to Australia and Italy, guys. One of my favorite games to target. Real quick, though, Tori with the $5 super chat. Thank you so much. He said Germany starters. Oh, we got the Germany starters. Wow, thank you for putting that chat. So Emlo, Obst, Bonga, Thiamin, and Vitamin. Okay, so they did move Emlo in the starting lineup. I like that. Bonga still starting and Mo Wagner not starting, but still viable tournament plays. Don't have a ton of interest in Thiamin or Rotman, but I think Emlo is probably going to play close to 30 minutes for Germany, and he does seem a little bit too cheap. Thank you again for the super chat. All right, so let's talk about Australia here. Patty Mills is going to be super, super popular. Again, though, for good reason. He played massive minutes. He played 35 minutes, went for 25, 6, and 4. Again, he is their number one on offense. So I do really like Patty Mills. Don't think we have to spend a ton of time here. Now, Joe Ingles is intriguing. Also played big minutes. Also is going to be aggressive in the offensive end. However, everyone is going to play Patty Mills. Could you play Joe Ingles over Patty Mills to get different in tournaments? I don't think it's the worst idea. Again, there is a way where Ingles outscores Patty Mills, and like no one's going to play Ingles, right? Patty Mills, if you're playing higher stake stuff, he's going to be close to 100%. Like there's a lot of the stars are going to be super popular in the higher stake stuff just because sharp players are going to go to the best plays. But Joe Ingles can still be productive. He's still had some big games for Australia. So again, large field tournaments, I don't hate it. And he's going to be unowned because everyone is playing Patty Mills. Now, couldn't you play them both together and try to get really different? Sure, right? It kind of worked with, it was Luka and I'm forgetting his name right now. The big for Slovenia. I can't think of his name right now. But he also had a good game. And like not a lot of people wanted to play both together. And the big for Slovenia was super low owned because of it. Thibault 8-2, I think it's too pricey. He did have 5 steals last game. Again, he'll get a lot of his production from the blocks and the steals. However, the minutes weren't as high as I would like. Only played about mid-20s minutes. Exum off the bench played about 25 minutes. He is shooting guard eligible. Shooting guard a weaker position on DraftKings, and shooting guard and small forward probably the weakest positions on DraftKings. I think he's actually a decent play here. I think we'll go a little bit over luck, but do some interest there in Exum. Now, the big rotation is a little bit tricky with Lando, Kay, Baines. So Lando got in some foul trouble. Baines did not play well. It was actually Kay that played the most minutes. However, I'm not convinced he's going to get the minutes again. Again, we've seen games in the exhibition games where Aaron Baines put over 20 minutes. Again, that was that first game where he didn't get injured. And we know Baines is actually a decent point per minute guy. So like the Australian bigs are all GPP plays. I think probably one of those guys is a good game, but again, I don't have a great read on who it's going to be. I think they're kind of going with the hot hand. Like, don't be shocked if Aaron Baines plays really well, if he plays like 25 minutes and goes for 35 fantasy points. Definitely possible. I really liked Baines last slate. Didn't really work out, but there's still a way where Aaron Baines is in the optimal lineup tonight. Again, he is cheap. So, but again, I don't really feel comfortable with the bigs here because, like I said, I think you're going to go with the hot hand. Dellavedova saw his minutes go down a little bit. Probably not going to go there. And that is it for Australia. So let's move on to Italy. All right, Italy also had a pretty condensed rotation, which I like to see. Gallinari came off the bench. I think there's a chance he starts this game. He played a lot more in the second half. I think he only played like 7 or 8 minutes in the first half. Again, played a ton in the second half. Fontenchio was decently popular. He had a really good game. Again, let's take a look at these minutes here. I'll bring it up for Italy. And Fanchio played 30. Stefano Tunat played 32. Gallinari 25 on the bench. Melli 26. Mannion 24. Polonara played 23. However, I think he was supposed to start because he was on the court at the starting. I was watching the game starting lineup. Then he had to come off because I think they put in the wrong starting lineup. Then he checked in really early. Polonara was popular last slate and completely busted because he shot 0 of 6. I'm not convinced that happens again. In the exhibition games, it was Fanchio and Polonara that really dominated. However, again, there was no Gallinari, so obviously, Gallinari is going to be a high-usage guy in this offense. But let's talk about this guy. So Gallinari, I think, might go a little bit lower owned as opposed to guys like Mills. We'll talk about St. Rancy. We'll talk about Fournier. I think we'll get more ownership. But I think there's a chance Gallinari starts and plays over 30 minutes. Again, he is a true scorer, is going to be their go-to guy. So do have a little bit of interest in him. Again, is small forward eligible, small forward a weaker position. Again, Fanchio, Polonara. Fanchio had the great game last game. He shot really well. However, don't be shocked if Polonara outscores Fanchio. Just because Fanchio went off last game and Polonara really struggled doesn't mean that's going to happen again, right? So, if you want to use Polonara over I think, going to be somewhat chalky Fanchio, I'm good at that for tournaments. Nico Mannion played about 25 minutes. Again, he'll run the point for Italy. Had 7 assists, 10 points. I think he's a fair play in the mid-range. Would have liked to see him play a little bit more, though. Stefano Tunut, again, is one of those value plays I like. Did play over 30 minutes. Did have 2 assists, 3 boards. And in the exhibition games, he's been playing some solid minutes, and it's cheap. So definitely a value guy I do like. Nicola Melli, I think, is going to be pretty popular. He saw, 26 minutes, got him kind of stuffed the stat sheet. I think a fair value. Again, I think will be a little bit popular today. But that's it. So Italy, condensed rotations, but a lot to like here. Again, we have Melli, Tunut for value, Fanchio, Polonara, Mannion in the mid-range. I think are all decent plays. Polonara probably be the lowest owned of the bunch. And then Gallinari I do kind of like. I think he'll be a little bit lower owned as opposed to some of those other spend-ups on this slate. All right, so let's finish up with France and Czech Republic. Again, really quick, if you guys are just coming in, if you could leave a like button on the live stream and subscribe if you haven't already. We're at 154 viewers and 45 likes. Let's try to get that to 70 likes before the end of the show. All right, so let's start off with France here. Rudy Gobert just overpriced at 10K. Don't have a ton of interest there. Nando De Colo and Evan Fournier I do like. Now, I think everyone's going to go to Fournier here. Again, he is going to be their go-to guy in offense. He had 28 real-life points. Played big minutes, 34 minutes. So I do like Fournier. But don't completely rule out Nando De Colo. Formerly of the NBA, again, was on the Spurs for a little bit. He's a guy that can stuff the stat sheet. 5 boards, 5 assists. Did play 32 minutes. Now, keep an eye on Frank Ntilikina. He actually missed last game. And in the exhibition games, he was playing a little bit more. So I feel like if Ntilikina plays, that could hurt De Colo a little bit and his minutes could go down. So just monitor that one. Again, he is currently questionable. But yeah, Fournier is definitely probably going to be the most popular player in France. I like him a good amount here. Nick Batum might fly a little bit on the radar, but he played big minutes, 31 minutes. He's a guy that can kind of do it all. 5 points, 5 assists, 4 boards, 1 steal. I kind of like him here. I think he's a safe play because of the minutes. And again, might go a little bit overlooked because of just the subpar game last game for Nick Batum. Not much interest there in TLC. Didn't see as many minutes as I expected. Now, Yabusele got a little bit injured there last game. Did come back, played 18 minutes. Keep an eye on this. He's probable. If he does play, I actually think he's viable for value. Again, obviously for the Celtics, he was a terrible point per guy in the NBA. But if he starts, again, he lost some minutes because of that injury. There's a chance he plays 25-plus minutes here and is really, really cheap. If Yabusele plays and starts, I'm intrigued by him for value. All right, so let's finish up with Czech Republic, guys. And yeah, St. Rancy is going to be one of those popular plays in the slate. It's for a good reason, though, right? He played 34 minutes, had an awful shooting game, and still for 35 fantasy points. Now, are we going to get 5 steals again? Probably not. But he's just going to be their go-to guy, a guy that will play massive minutes and be their clear number 1 guy. So I really like St. Rancy. Once again, underpriced. Loved him last slate. Love him again here. Don't have to spend a ton of time on him. There are some other guys here, some secondary options I do like for the Czech Republic, too. Jan Vesely at 6.9K. Did play 25 minutes. Again, was in the NBA for a little bit. Went for 11, 7, 3, and 2. He is a good point per guy. Again, we'll play the 5 at times here. He actually closed the 5 last game. So Vesely is a guy that I do kind of like. And then also Balvin was a guy that I really liked last slate. His minutes went down a little bit. Only played 19 minutes, but still went for 9 points, 8 boards. Now they are going up against a really big team in France with Rudy Gobert. So maybe Balvin plays a little bit more. Again, in some exhibition games, he was playing 25 to 30 minutes. And again, is a good point per guy, a good scorer, a good rebounder. So Balvin, Vesely are 2 other guys I'm looking to here for Czech Republic. I like them both. Uda, Shib, Yeah, not completely out of play, but I think I'd rather go to those other guys that I mentioned here. Again, if we take a look at the minutes, Satoransky played the massive minutes 34, and then we saw Auda 23, Shib 24, Vesely 25, and Balvin 19. That's probably where I'm at here for value, guys, for the Czech Republic. All right, so got about 10 minutes left for some questions. Make sure to leave them in the chat, guys. All right, let's get to it. Who is Shib? Yeah, Blake Shib for the Czech Republic. Yeah, I think Gallinari is a good play. I think there's a chance he starts, plays a little bit more. I do like Gallo. Hey, the Draftkings isn't showing their minutes played. Yeah, it's like slowly updating. Again, it didn't have at the beginning of the day. I see it for a couple players here. Yeah, Balvin or Bonga. I think both are good plays. I think Bonga might be a little bit safer because of minutes, but I still think both are solid values. Are there any places to follow box scores live? Yeah, there's a few here. What is this site? Well, I watch the games on the NBC Sports app. I download it on my phone and then I just pair it to my TV. But yeah, just Google Olympics Tokyo basketball and you should be able to get some live stats here. Hopefully Draftkings does a better job of the live scoring too. They were a little bit delayed first day, but last slate was a little bit better. All right, Yak and Achua or Lowe and Nick. Yeah, it's a good question. Good question. I'll lean the second one. Fonchio, Bonga, Lowe, or Yabusele, Baines, Durant. Another good question. I'll lean the first one there. Yeah, so the site I'm using right now for stats is Pro Ballers. I'm not sure actually if they do live stats, but yeah, Google Google Tokyo Olympics 2020 basketball. That's the site you can get some live scoring on. All right, Jam, Balvin, Gallinari, or Batum, Bonga, and Tunit. I like both options. So M. Jams, Balvin, and Gallo, or Batum, Bonga, Tunit. I'll go the second one, that's close. Batum, Noor, and Tunit, or Vesely, M. Nick, and Biak. Another good one. Another good question. I'll go the second one. Playing again, the issue with those Iran guards, obviously there's a chance they play limited as a blowout. Playing Mills and Satoransky prefer lower Yak in the utility. Straight up, are we talking straight up M low or Yak? Obviously it's going to be M low, but he's about 3K more expensive. Can't trust Yak against USA. Yeah, again, there's a chance, right? Those Iran guys play limited minutes. Now, they're cheap, right? That's why those guys are still viable, because even if the game blows out, there's a decent chance they can get value. Now, again, I think everyone's going to play Yak since he had the best game, but there's two other guys that are viable, right? M. Jams, M. Nick, two guys that should play some solid minutes as well. Melli or Polonara? I'm actually going to go Polonara there. Melli had the great game last game, but I'm going to lean Polonara, lower ownership. Any lineups out? Yeah, we just got the Germany lineup out. Emlo is starting a point guard. They spend ups, yeah, we went over it, but Mills, I think is probably my favorite spend up. Top fade, I'll just say the USA guys, even though they're going to be low owned. Now, if you want to go to one of the USA guys as contrarian spend up and kind of hope that game stays competitive, fine with me, but hard for me to get there for my one lineup. DeColo or Fournier, yeah, that's a good one. DeColo is going to be unowned because I think everyone's going to play Fournier. It's still going to be lean to Fournier since he's their go-to scorer. And keep an eye on Ntilikina. If Ntilikina is back, I think there's a chance DeColo loses some minutes. Now, if Ntilikina is out, you could go DeColo over Fournier to get different. But, yeah, I think Fournier, again, is going to be their go-to scorer for sure. Dame Haddadi, regardless of price. I'm going to go Haddadi. And it's just because he is going to be, their go-to guy in offense, where the USA have a lot of guys that can take over. So I think I'd rather go Haddadi there. Yeah, I think good question, Joel. I think it is. I don't think really anyone from the USA is going to be popular, or at least in the higher stake stuff. Now, if you're playing lower stake stuff, Sure, there's probably going to be some dead money in some of those USA guys. If the game stays competitive, I definitely think a couple guys can get you there. But it's just, I would rather go to the teams where I kind of know who's going to be the top guy. Right? With the USA, it could be a lot of guys. Even though Dame, KD are most likely to be the main guys, it could be Tatum. Right? We saw Drew Holiday take over. It could be Devin Booker get hot. Right? So they have a lot of talent. It's just, I don't think it's worth the risk to go there in the main slate. Forward, mid-range, yeah, there's definitely some viable options here. So forward and mid-range, I think Vesely looks decent there. Fonchio, the Italians. Fonchio, Polonara. Again, Fonchio's going to be way more popular. I like Precious for Nigeria. I think Nick Batum is very, very safe. Melly's going to be popular. So there's a lot of guys there that are viable kind of in that mid-range. Thoughts on Yak? So yeah, B-Yak is going to be very popular, I think, for Iran. I think you can definitely make the argument to fade him, though, in GPPs. I think most people are going to use him if they're going to go to a value or Vanguard. But don't rule out M. Jams or M. Nick. Both played 30-plus minutes. M. Jam should be more their point guard. He had 7 assists last game. So, like, if you have a popular lineup and you want to just make a pivot, lower ownership, just go M. Jams over B-Yak. K or Bonga? Yeah, it's a good question. I'm going to go Bonga. And the reason I am is because I'm not convinced K get those minutes again. We saw Lando get in foul trouble. We saw Baines really struggle. I think Australia is going to go with a little bit of the hot hand situation, kind of a Washington Wizards-esque, Scott Brooks-esque. So I don't think I want to deal with that headache. Let's see. Balvin, Vesely, or Bonga Fonchio. I like both options. I'll go the second, but that's close. Nora and Bonga or Balvin and Melly. I'm actually going to go the second one there. Yeah, I think Nora's pretty decent. Now, he did not start last game, Jordan Nwora, and he did play a couple extra minutes probably because of Kezia Paula foul trouble. So, like, with Nigeria, it's a little bit tricky because, again, they're a little more of a balanced team. But Nwora is cheap. So I agree. Like, him, Okoji look like solid value plays. Is there a Luka-type play, lock play? On this slate, I would say the closest player to a Luka is probably going to be Patty Mills because of the minutes and the fact that he's going to have the ball in his hands basically the entire game. I think it's safe to leave a lot of salary. I like it a lot. Yeah, you can leave some salary on the table, especially on the showdowns. Don't be afraid to leave a ton of money on the table for the showdown slates. Like that Iran versus USA game, you can play 3 Iran guys and get different. Like, everyone's in the jam in the USA guys, so like don't be afraid to leave some salary on the table. All right, guys, a couple more minutes left. Again, leave a like button if you're coming in. It helps you out a lot. We're at 170 viewers, 60 likes. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you again. I'll keep you guys updated with starting lineups and once we get them. We already have the Germany starting lineup. Try not to play either Iran guards, trying to fit in all 4, Fournier, Emlo, Zadowin. Yeah, if the game turns into a massive blowout and Iran empties the bench, then there's a chance they're out in the winning lineup. So I don't think you have to play one of them. Favorite forward plays under 5K. Yeah, so we went over some of them. Under 5K, there's going to be a few guys that are viable here. So not really on Met2, but I think Melly, Nwora, probably the 2 guys I look to under 5K for forward. Melly or Polonara. Again, it's going to be Polonara for me if we're talking GPPs. He was way better in the exhibition games, even though he really struggled last game. Doesn't mean it's going to happen again, right? Doesn't mean he's going to shoot 0 of 6 again. Whereas Melly kind of, I think, outperformed. If you're asking me straight up, Melly's going to be way more popular. Give me Polonara for the lower ownership. Fonchio and Nwora or Polonara and Melly. Yeah. I'll go the first one. Aren't you worried that Thibault guards Gallinari? I'm not worried about it, no. I'm not going to avoid Gallinari because of that. Precious and Melly or Fonchio and Nwora. Yeah, these are good questions, guys. I'll go the second one. K or Balvin? I'm going to go Balvin. I think K might be a little bit over-owned. Again, we had some Jack Lando foul trouble. Baines played terrible. So even though K played really well last game, doesn't mean he's going to play a ton this game. In the exhibition games, he played a lot less. So I'm actually going to go Balvin there over K. Anyone in Nigeria? Yeah, some of the Valley guys. Nwora, Josh Okoji. I think Precious seems a little bit too cheap. Precious and Melly or Nick and Vesely. I'll go the second one there. Fonchio and Nwora. Let's see. Gallinari, Batum, or Katie and Nick. It's going to be Gallinari and Batum there. I think the USA runs their starters more because now point differential matters and blowout doesn't matter. Yeah, but I guess. Yeah, so like if you want to go to one of those USA guys, this can try and spend up. Not going to talk you off them. They're all going to be pretty low owned. Baines or Balvin, Bonga Polnar or Balvin and Fontenchio. I'll go the first one that's close. Germany doesn't have any shooting guard. Let's see. No, Germany, yeah, they have Obst is a shooting guard, even though he is listed as point guard. Yeah, of course, guys. I love doing these live streams. Thing is, the benchers. Let's see. Emil's guard for Germany. Yep. Vincent or Mannion, that one's close. I'm gonna go Vincent because I think he a little bit underperformed last game. That's basically a toss-up though. All right, guys, this is gonna be the last question. Thanks again for coming to check out the live stream. I really do appreciate it. Again, like and subscribe if you haven't already. Ethan, 3.7K for GPP for. Let's see, is there anyone viable there? Oh yeah, it's gonna be Nick for me. Nick for sure. Played over 30 minutes last game. I think he goes overlooked. Whereas everyone's going to play B-Yak. Don't be afraid to fade Yak if you want to get a little bit different. It's going to be Nick or Yabusele. Again, monitor Yabusele. He got injured. He got banged up last game. He lost some time because of the injury. But if he starts this game, there's a chance he plays 25-plus minutes. So it's going to be Nick or Yabusele. Again, monitor the news, though, with Yabusele. All right, guys, that's going to do it. I'm going to go stream for Patreon. Thanks again. Enjoy these games, and I'll be back tomorrow. I think we have 2 games tomorrow. So I will see you guys all then.